I had a little stirring of some old energy this morning, and I really wanted to reach for people I love to lean on and get some support and just feedback from. And sometimes it's a gift when I feel that stirring and I may be reaching too soon to have the opportunity to sit with myself for a minute so I can hear what I have to say about it and listen to what I have to say about it and feel some internal truth to this and find my wholeness and validation around it. Yeah. And the empowerment. And as I think about this and just the gift it is to notice how these old patterns and this old residue, when it is triggered, there is a bit of a sacred pause there where I'm observing and noticing. And then also from this place of having the pullback perspective that allows me to be an observer to the process, a response. And stillness itself is a response. Just giving a little space there that I deserve to witness in the stillness and allow safely the movement of this emotional energy is a beautiful thing. And I've been talking to so many people this week about the difference between being alone and how we really feel that when we're in separation of self, when we have a lot of fear that our world is oriented around, and when we have not yet journeyed home into a secure attachment relationship with self, which is wholeness, inner balance. From this wounded place, being alone is on that side, right? And across that bridge of courage that carries us to the shored up places where we get the gift of what it feels like to be with yourself, what it feels like to be with yourself. What a beautiful thing to show up for and with myself. And so the frame, the way that frame changes the entire picture when you shift it to I'm going on a hike by myself to I'm going on a hike with myself. The mindfulness of an importance of your relationship with yourself at the center of that is such a pivotal change. It's such a big change to be alone versus looking at anytime you're alone as you are having an opportunity to be with yourself right now. And what does that look like? And this has trickled into conversations where there is healing happening around the way in which people have internalized a lack of emotional safety from childhood wounds and experiences, and then will experience a swell of some emotional energy that's coming up for a reason so that it can be fully experienced. The natural wave can carry out its full wavelength, and they're cutting that short prematurely because of the way in which they treat themselves around this internalizing of having a lack of emotional safety. And so it looks like this in conversations. Oh, I had this big energy come up this week, and then I just pulled myself out of it, and I went to get my nails done, and I went and did this, and here is where we are unpacking this energy to teach that it's nice to do nice things for yourself. And it's also altogether not self care or emotional processing or loving yourself well, soothing and relieving deeply. It's very short lived, temporary, shallow, and therefore will need a replication too quickly, right? When those nice things you're doing for yourself have an energy of distraction, avoidance, escaping. When we look at when you're going to do that nice thing for yourself, when you're sitting to get your nails done, what does it look like in regard to how are you being with yourself? Because you could be in a very fragmented, unkind energy with yourself while you get your nails done, right? And so this is not a restorative practice. This is not a deep level of caring for yourself well through the journey of healing. This is patterned replication of survival skill coping that is going to keep you looping and creating that confirmation bias on I need to keep running and always be two steps ahead of the emotions that are swelling up behind me that I feel like are threatening to crash down on top of me. And if they do, then I feel I'll be swallowed and stuck and I will never be able to get out of that. And this is the way that our own natural, very real emotional energy becomes programmed as a threat. My own emotions are a threat to me. If I experience my own emotion fully, I will get stuck or swallowed into it, right? This is a cognitive distortion, a fragmented belief that's keeping a wedge between your relationship with your own self and holding a distance there, connected to the way that we have internalized growing up in a household where it wasn't safe and normalized to be able to fully experience your emotions without that becoming a problem. Yeah. all this to say, all this to say, when you go through this healing journey and you start to have the gift of the observer role where there is space, sacred pauses, there's so much more of this energy that feels like you are observing these processes in a way where there is a bit more detachment than there's ever been. And our entire identity from the wounded human places over to the eternal truths of the soul essence where your wholeness lives is shifting. The witnessing of how good it feels for you to be able to show up with yourself in those moments, right? In those moments where we used to have a very patterned, reflexive way in which we accidentally demonstrated self-abandonment. I think like having a big emotional wave and running from it and going to do something to make us feel better, that's like a very quick dopamine hit kind of way of teeter-tottering with the you know adrenaline, norepinephrine, cortisol of being in chronic stress and survival mode, and then dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, and then we're thinking like this is balancing out, and it is not. It is not safety. It is not restorative. It is not balance. It is a loop. It's a loop we're stuck in, right? So this is a piece of what I notice when there are moments where I might want to reach to something that feels a little bit patterned after I get some stirred up energy of dysregulation, and then I'm called home to myself again and again and again. And when I I'm thinking of this visual. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of this visual, which kind of popped up in somebody else's EMDR, but now I'm seeing it myself. Of like, if you imagine this internal experience where I'm feeling a little shaky and then I'm wanting support, and the door opens up, and I was expecting it to be somebody else, but then it is the higher version of me that is always there for me all the time. And I'm like, part of me that is inside is thinking like, I didn't expect it to be you, and it's like, well, who else would you expect it to be? I'm your girl. It's, of course it's you and me, girl. It's you and me, right? And then I'm like, all right, well, let's see what you have to say. And it's like, oh my gosh, that was somehow you had just what I needed. How did you know? How did we know, right? This is wholeness. How did we know? Yeah. And the empowerment that comes from the guidance and the access within, as within, so above, the access that you have a direct link to is just a whole nother ball game, and available to you when these patterns start to break and we have enough of the stillness to honor the observer role and the inward journey that removes those wedges that are holding in place the separation of self, so that that door can open up and you could show up for yourself the way you deserve and the way you were always capable of once you see who's on the other side of that door. I saw a video this morning that I really loved that was something along the lines of 5 signs that your nervous system is healing and you're really entering into moving out of survival mode into safety, which, if you follow these videos, you know I talk about a lot, and I have personally been journeying through and have witnessed many people at this point taking those same steps and achieving that arrival. And I loved it. I thought it was very on point. So I'm going to link that in the description below for you to see. And it was essentially talking about, here are some signs your nervous system is healing that you wouldn't necessarily expect, but is a very real part of this journey. And I know if you're somebody who works with me, you'll probably recognize these things as well.